We made it. Thank you, my fellow friends and supporters, for following along on our journey this far. This is the final episode of the LMS Synths series you're going to see, which is wild because it's something I've been pouring my heart and soul into for over a year now. The post-production really being the most time-consuming part after filming these episodes. Over 180 pedals, 25 videos, 12 episodes, and 12 songs that are eventually going to come together for an explosive effect-driven psych rock record that I hope is really cool. And here we are at the final chapter. Let's take a look.
Everybody's muted.
Players for tonight's episode. We have series veteran and all-around badass Ben Livingston on drums one last time. My longtime friend, jazz professor, and trusted confidant, John Madere, returns with his ever-rotating synth toys. Baton Rouge bass staple and even older friend, Taylor Matherne, returns on bass. And New Orleans multi-instrumentalist and songwriter, Cody Peltier of Meyer Child and the rock group Ivory Sons, joins us on secondary guitar to round things out. Yep, the part that's written there is the verse. Hello.
Hello.
We've made it.
Let's hear a Jack Sparrow.
Where is all the rum gone? Anyway, that's Jack Nicholson being Jack Sparrow.
Narrow Nicholson.
I go deep with my impersonations. It's like another person impersonating another person. Sloppy toppy. After we finish goofballing around, of course, the race begins for me to start translating the song to the team. Pedals don't really come into play just yet because more fundamental things like song structure, rhythmic breaks and changes, melodies and chord structure all have to be communicated to the other players and fine-tuned. You've heard me say it before, but I only have 5 hours with these musicians, and I'm bringing in a song I've only outlined the basics of at home on my guitar. The concept for this last song actually came from merging melodies and riffs from 3 different pedal demos I've done in the past, although I modified everything pretty heavily, and I wrote lots of new elements to make it all feel like it flows together. Whole bottom, yeah. So then this is G minor, 2, 3, 4.
What key is this? Is it because y'all are in E flat? That's in D. What are we doing?
D sharp minor.
Yeah, it's that track was just in D when I recorded a year and a half ago. We're playing in D sharp. We're playing in D flat tonight.
How long is this song?
Actually, at the speed that it's at, that I want it at, it's not as long as you would think. Now, if we had the intro on, probably about 4.5 minutes. But like, if we cut the intro off, this song's about 3.5 minutes.
Keep that part going.
Yeah, keep it going.
Like keep that.
I want to come back to it and do that. Like, this is it's syncing up so nicely that it's almost like. See, when we were writing, we were like, okay, the song's dragging on. We don't want it to drag on. But now that I'm hearing it, it's like one of the coolest sections of the song.
So wait, that outro though, that final bit, you want to still have that in there, but.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna play what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like we get through all the way to the... Something that's really busy, but in that kind of calypso, I don't even know if it needs like, maybe without a snare accent at first, and then eventually like boom, 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 put it in like a half time.
Flow-wise, what I'm hearing is basically just extending the part before it, a couple of measures, and then coming in with the final bit.
Well, when I was writing this in my head, I'm thinking, that's what I'm hearing in my head. But then I recognize that it also works, as just, just like they're both halftime, I guess. I'm okay with it either or. It could be the first time that we do it, or I think it would make sense to close the song. You know. I built a board for Cody that I hoped would give him some good tonal versatility. We accidentally grabbed the Empress bass compressor from the house instead of the standard compressor. You can't use a bass compressor for guitar. But it wasn't a big deal. The Jupiter Effects Catastrophe and Farm Pedals Sweetly Fuzzes are for the heavier sections, the Paradox Effects Tehran for filtered light drive, the Eventide H9 Max for delay and trippy space-time stuff, and the Ground Effects Lux for an ambient plate reverb. Well, I mean, you could do tom and snare, you know, just like, what would you typically do, you know, just to, like, before you're about to slam shit, you know?
Cut that.
So all John has to do is just record this sequence through the duration of that.
Or he can just record it however.
Yeah, actually, all you need to do is record it under it.
Maybe like 16 bars or something, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. So let's, so Max, you can just hit record.
And I was using it at the end too, if you want to use it there, whenever y'all are doing all the genty stuff. Cool.
I only gave John a few pedals because the two synths he was using, OP1 and Zoya, already have a ton of range. The Land Devices Land Mixer came in handy, of course, once again to make tricky stereo routing with both synths through pedals possible. The Dr. Scientist Atmosphere is loaded with unique reverb modes to give John the upper edge on pads and textures, and the Spaceman Artemis we mostly used for tonal coloring and occasional filter sweeps at transitions. It's important to note that these setups are mostly for us to dial in the general effect sounds the night of the session. This whole series we had the foresight to record dry DI input from everyone so that I can reamp everybody's parts and have more control and manipulation of effects when I pull these sessions up in my home studio.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where's Jinty?
Okay.
That's really terrifying.
For Taylor, we brought out the trusty Stone Deaf PDF 1X that's been a staple preamp in our sessions, the cryptic industrial-looking buzz around from Dun Effects for some added crunch when we need it, and the Caroline Crom as his main heavy dirt. And although we originally placed the Whimsy Machine's Fantabulizing What's It Do on his board, I later swapped it onto my guitar rig and used it for some electrically charged leads.
I'm not going to tell you anything other than I love you, and I would like to start from the top.
On my own board, I dabble with the Empress Ecosystem, the Neural Devices Chambers Reverb, the Greer Super Hornet with the gain rolled back for a nice crispy drive, the Mass Effect Sonafuzz for heavier riffs, and the Noise Space Audio Brass Fuzz Silicon for some leads. Hey, we're here. We did it. Over a year in the making, we have made it to the end of the Let's Make Some Noise series. It's over 180 pedals used in the making of this record / documentary / pedal exploration series. That was a total experiment. We've given away over 100 pedals, not to mention all the pedal boards, the Chiox power supplies, the instrument cables, the patch cables, the Persona Sphere subscriptions, the drum samples, the metal etched pick guards, and so much more. Over the course of this, it's been wild. I've never done anything like this before, and I'm really proud, I guess, to say that in my small way, my small channel was able to pull off something like this, even if it took me longer than I initially would have hoped. But I don't give up on things. So we are here at the end. And it's also all thanks to you guys, everybody tuning in, everybody watching, everybody supporting, of course. The amazing sponsors of the series that, like, from the get-go, when I was making my phone calls, my Zoom calls, were just so ready to jump in, so supportive. There's so much positivity right off the bat. That's something that I love about the pedal and guitar gear community. It just seems pretty much universal. Pedal Train, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. Just the amount of support that you guys threw in. It really proves that you support smaller artists and independent content creators and musicians, and didn't really ask for anything in return. And that's the same with most of these builders, and it really goes to show something about the integrity of this community. Thank you so much, Chiox, for all the power supplies. Thank you so much, Personas, for all of the hookups. Thank you, Circles Drum Samples. Thank you, Disaster Area Designs, for all of the solderless patch cables, Revelation cables. You guys make some of the best instrument cables, so I was really happy to get you guys on board. And of course, all of the builders, every single one that I called up and was just happy to throw down. So that was incredible. And because of you, there are a bunch of you out there that now have a lot of gear that maybe you couldn't have afforded prior to this. And because of that, I hope you are making noise. I hope that you are creating. I hope that you're making music in any capacity, in any form that makes you happy. That's really what this is all about. The series is called Let's Make Some Noise, and it really reinforces what I think is one of the most important things in this life, what we're put here on this planet to do, is to create. So I hope that all of you, even you that didn't get to win some gear this time around, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people entering, and hopefully if we ever do this again, maybe you can nab something. But either way, just use what you got. It's all in here. It's all up here. All right, probably enough sentimental stuff, right? Before we get to the giveaway section, I do want to address that some of you have been asking about the record, the album, right? Like the point of all this from the initial statement, right? We're going to make a psychedelic rock record using over 180 pedals. Well, technically, we have. The instrumental portion of the record in tracking is done. The mixes that you're hearing in these episodes, I think I've mentioned before, they're just the rough mixes that I can throw together in time to put these episodes. Obviously, if I'd had more weeks to postpone, I love to A/B things in my car and make little minute adjustments to my mixes. I'm not the best audio mixing engineer in the world, so I don't really have the intention of mixing this record in the end, but I've got it in capable hands, and some of the tracks have already been in that process. But then there's vocals, so that's sort of the next thing to tackle. Now, when I started this series, my channel was just strictly about pedal demos, and I wanted to do this as a way to just get out of that loophole for a little while and do something different, try something that's never been done before. I'm kind of bullheaded, so people were warning me against a lot of this, but I go with my gut, and sometimes if you don't, nothing gets done, right? So we're here, but I do have this responsibility for my channel to also get back to demoing. So I've got lots that I want to do besides this record, right? I've got lots of content that I have planned going forward involving pedal boards, involving pedal comparisons, more of my thoughts and take on songwriting. Lots of ideas that I've been wanting to execute, but I haven't been able to because this series really took up all of my time and energy for the last year. So please stick around on the channel, lots more pedal demos to come, and gonna be working on vocal stuff to figure out whether I'm doing the vocals on this record or if I'm gonna outsource to someone that's more of a badass. And it's tricky, you know, when you're making a record. I don't think I need to explain, it's a very personal thing. But I've got ideas, I'm gonna be working on it. If you wanna support the making this record, of course, mixing, mastering, all of this, it costs money, and I probably will throw up some kind of small fundraiser in the future, probably just selling merch, and every little bit like that helps out. So just stick around if you want to be supporting the record as we're getting closer to releasing it. But yeah, all right, that's enough. On to the giveaways, right? Let's do it. All right, the Janus Altmanus plate style reverb that has very amp-like qualities, very haunting, dreamy, really cool, going home to. The Brass Fuzz Silicon version from Kiev, Ukraine, the builder's Noise Space Audio, and it's their take on the famous Brassmaster Fuzz, and their version is way more interesting. It has this internal circuitry rerouting switch, and you have clean blend, so this is awesome for bass or guitar. It's going home too. Rage Monster from Malaise Forever Customs, awesome treble booster, overdrive, preamp, clarity bringing, harmonically enriching overdrive. This is going to the Done Effects Buzz Around. This is a really cool cryptic acid etched enclosure version of this pedal, and this is an awesome spitty, nasty sounding buzzy fuzz that is also really good at low gain settings for some super textural overdrive sounds. Going to. Hey. All right, and the grand prize, right? Mountain of stuff. I can't even get everything in my lap here. Is going to. I hope you were super stoked. Let's take a look at what you got. The Mataverse Air Trash, absolute audio mangling device. Very cool. The Caroline Guitar Company Crom, super fuzz distortion with a turbo boost button. Who doesn't want a turbo boost button on their fuzz pedal? The Empress Echo System, absolutely top tier dual echo engine with stereo routing capabilities. This is an awesome delay pedal. Jupiter Effects, Catastrophe, Distortion, Octafuzz, Brain Shredder, Ear Melter. It says on the box, fuck your ears, so don't do that. The Neural Devices, Chambers, Plate, Ambient Reverb. This company needs so much more attention, and this is a perfect example of why I love the clock control on this, and I used it at low sample rates for a lot of the reverb pads that you just heard in this song. Of course, the Mataverse Tiny Turntable Lite, which is a single oscillator, hand-cranked synthesizer, theremin thingy. You can make all sorts of weird sound effects and just have fun with this thing. Shocks DC7 power supply. The power of this entire series. It's what we use on all our boards. It's so reliable, it's so consistent, and it's going to clean your sound up. It's awesome. This lovely Revelation cable, instrument cable, or I have other colors. Hit me up, we'll talk about it. Disaster Area Designs Evo solderless patch cable kits. This one says 20. This is a personal one that I have from a while ago, but you're going to get 10 plugs, which is still a good bit to get you started off and see if you like them. They are some of the smallest, least intrusive solderless patch cables on the market, perfect for wiring up big boards where you have limited space. Of course, what I can't fit in my hands, the pedal train Novo 24 pedal board with the gig bag, the Velcro, all the goodies. A year membership to Personasphere, where you can download Studio One 6 and all of their badass plugins and software tools that you can hopefully use to help you create more music if you aren't using Personasphere already. And last but not least, a Circles Drum Samples $75 gift card. They make some of the coolest drum samples on the planet. They're just awesome sounding, mixed really well straight out of the box. You can drag the WAV files into your projects, you can chop them up, you can use them for whatever, songwriting. I use them all the time in my demos, so enjoy that. And with that, we bring the Let's Make Some Noise series to a close. Thank you again, everybody, for supporting, staying along for the ride. Reach out to me if you have any thoughts, questions, comments. You want to talk about the music, you have any questions about the record. You know, I love to talk to people, I love to connect. And I've met some really incredible people over the course of this that have reached out and made some really good friends since then. And of course, a final thank you to all of my friends, the musicians and the engineers and the people that just came out to help on these shooting days. Blue Cassette, the editing crew for these part 2 episodes, every part 2 episode that you saw was cut together for the most part by Taylor, Ari, and Chris, who were the core cameramen on the studio night filmings, and they've just been so awesome, and they really busted butt and got the job done in the best way possible. So I'm really grateful to them, and of course to you all. And with that, we close things out. Go out there and make your own noise, because life is too short. Peace. Take care.